Visit Elmhurst.org to explore the new City of Elmhurst website. Find out the latest Elmhurst news, pay utility bills and parking tickets, report concerns, and much more. Elmhurst.org is an ideal way to discover what Elmhurst offers your business, your family, your life.
I'm going to need a lot of work on my hash bell ringing. Good morning and welcome to the President's Breakfast. President Ray and Angela Ray and all of us here are delighted you could come, especially at the crack of 7:30 on a Saturday morning. We want to welcome the President's cabinet members, trustees, faculty, students, guests, and friends of Elmhurst College. I'm Bob Rowley. I'm in my first year as Director of Government and Community Relations. And I look forward to meeting all of you. I'm still meeting people here, but it's a delight to be here. And my first promise to you is this: we will get you out of here by 9 a.m. sharp, as is the tradition of this breakfast. So let us begin with the Reverend Scott Matheny, our chaplain, who will give us the invocation.
Thank you, Bob. Good morning, all. That's pretty good. This is a joyous occasion of this institution, and it is a great joy to open this moment in prayer. I was hoping that our mayor was here so that I could make a note about the fact that I enjoy offering prayers, and I think he does also. He's supposed to be here, so maybe he's running away because of my prayer. It is a glorious day, and there is so much going on in this institution to be thankful for, and it is a great joy to have you all here. I open us in this time with a call from St. Augustine in the 3rd century. Beloved, in all art forms and ways, let us join our hearts together in prayer. Let us pray. O thou supreme, most secret and most present, most beautiful and strong, what shall I say, my God, my life, my holy joy? What shall any of us say when we speak of thee? Summon unto these and those who have gathered around table on this campus, rising with the sun to gather, to listen, to meet the joys and challenges of this land. Grant these wisdom to order society and our collective resources so that youth may be safe and may even study in hallowed halls such as Elmhurst College. For you have gifted this community with strategic ability and plans that shall ennoble and transform. So strengthen these, that they might be transformed to the best that you have given them, that they may say, for what shall we say, O God? Our life, our holy joy. Let but these words always be on our lips eternal. Thank you for life, for food, for this day, for love. This we pray in your holy and eternal name. Amen.
Amen.
It's good to have you all here. Sir, you're on.
Thank you, Scott. And now Chartwells will be releasing your tables for you to go to the breakfast buffet in an orderly fashion so you can get some breakfast. More from the podium later. Bon appetit.
The balance with athletics in school, it's just, with me, I did it all throughout high school, so I needed to do sports in order to stay focused. I run cross country in the fall and track in the spring. I was injured my freshman year and I just felt like so off track. It didn't feel natural. Like, I think a lot of the students coming from high school and coming to D3, it's like what they need to stay focused. I mean, if you could do it in high school, you could do it here. The bigger schools, you don't have the coach time like you do here. You can just join the team and just have fun. We actually just went to Tennessee for a spring break trip, so it was different. It was a lot of fun being able to travel. We had 2 first-place finishes, so it was kind of impressive. It's nice having like that other family aside from like, you know, being at home because you're with them all the time. Don't be afraid to go out there and try new things.
I encourage you all to continue enjoying the food and the coffee, Chartwell's finest. But I'd like to take a few minutes now to introduce some of the special guests of the president today and to talk about some events before Alan speaks. Let me first, in fact, introduce you to your hosts, S. Alan Ray and Angela Ray. And I'd also like to introduce a few prominent members of the school here, the President's Cabinet. So when I called your name, could you please stand? Jim Coolidge. Where's Jim? Gary Rold. Peggy Sandgren. Welcome back, Peggy. And Jim Winters, my boss. Also, I'd like to introduce President of the Alumni Association, Shaheen Wolf, class of '87, and members of the Alumni Association. And again, thank you all for coming today to show your enduring support of a great Elmhurst institution that continues to grow and expand its role in the community and its reputation here and the world beyond. This is a very exciting time to be at Elmhurst College. There's so many good things happening. You need to keep an eye on the website daily just to keep track, and it's a really phenomenal website. Much of this stems from the work Alan Ray has done, starting with the new strategic plan. The plan infuses everything on campus these days. You can see the college generating more buzz in the Chicago region and getting some well-deserved attention in the media as well. For me, this is particularly awesome as a new advocate for the college. I'm actually a recovering newspaper man. I'm in a 12-step program. I left the Chicago Tribune a year ago after 30 years as a reporter, correspondent, and editor, and I found a great story here. I'm thoroughly enjoying my new role in helping write part of this wonderful new narrative at Elmhurst College. Some of you may have come to the Jazz Festival. How many people came to the Jazz Festival this year? All right, good, a few of you. I did for the first time, and I was blown away by it. Not just by the caliber of the star musicians who came to grace us with their magic, but by the precision and professionalism of the Elmhurst College Jazz Band. One of the superstars who came to perform, Patrick Williams, a man with 4 Grammys, 2 Emmys, who actually produced 2 of Frank Sinatra's last CDs with Old Blue Eyes, was also amazed by the talent and musicality of our students and faculty. Williams said this of the jazz band, and I quote, "I've been around, but I have never worked with a better college band than this one, ever." And Williams couldn't have been more complimentary about the skill and dedication of the jazz band director, Doug Beach. It was quite remarkable. If you've ever heard the jazz band, you know they're a treasure, as is Doug. But moving on, we have some great speakers this year who've come to the college and who are going to come, including author Gail Collins of the New York Times, who just recently came and spoke about the journey of American women, and it was really remarkable. She talked about 200 years of progress, and it was really inspiring. One of our biggest initiatives this year has been the Poverty Project at Elmhurst College. It started in the fall when the college awarded its most prestigious award, the Niebuhr Medal, to the influential Peruvian theologian and Roman Catholic priest Gustavo Gutierrez, widely known as the father of liberation theology and a tireless advocate for the poor. It continued with a Poverty Week in the fall, led by the Global Poverty Club, started and run by students, and its senior president, Dan Zarlinga, an amazing young man. And recently, President Ray was on the local National Public Radio station affiliate, WBEZ, delivering the first of a series of essays the college and its students are doing on poverty. It's part of a year-long program to study, educate ourselves, and evaluate the problem of material poverty in DuPage County and the world beyond. It has been motivating students to learn about the problem, not just to raise consciousness about it, but to really motivate young people to take action. So listen for the NPR series going forward. It's going to be fascinating. And a week ago, the program continued with a guest speaker named Jerry Kelman, who came to the campus to talk to students and lecture on compassion and poverty in the age of Obama. Jerry Kelman knows something about the president. Kelman was the Chicago activist who recruited and mentored a young Barack Obama and brought him to Chicago in '85 and taught him how to be a community organizer. He's actually in the book Dreams from My Father, listed under the pseudonym Marty Kaufman. And the Poverty Project will continue next week with a silver screen film series on campus. We're showing such poignant movies as the Depression era's The Grapes of Wrath with Henry Fonda and the recent Oscar-winning British film Slumdog Millionaire. Also, veteran journalist Barbara Rose will moderate a panel on March 18th doing an inquiry into the very real issue of poverty in DuPage County. And nationally known author Alex Kotlowitz will speak on April 8th on the topic, The Things They Carry, Growing Up Poor in the World's Wealthiest Nation. And on March 23rd, the college will host Faces of Need, a photography exhibit on poverty by photographers of the Chicago Tribune, taken in Chicago, Wheaton, Rockford, and elsewhere, and covering the faces of the poor over the last 80 years, all the way back to the Depression. Some really poignant pictures. But overall, the message of the Poverty Project is a hopeful one. It's about social responsibility. It's about doing something to help others in the great tradition of this college. So now, without further ado, let's have a warm round of applause for the main event, our distinguished president, who will give us an overview of the state of the college. S. Allen Ray.
Good to see that I have your attention, or that of your chairs. Thank you, Bob. As many of you know by now, I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, and Cherokees welcome people by saying, Osia Nagala. Welcome everyone to Elmhurst College. I'd like to extend a warm greeting to all of our friends joining us from throughout the city and its many religious and community organizations, as well as our distinguished public servants from municipal and state governments. I'd like especially to recognize the following individuals, and I'd ask if you would stand when I call your name and remain standing. We have with us the Mayor of Elmhurst, who is an Elmhurst College alumnus, Pete DeCiani. Thank you. Representative Bob Biggins. Bob. Senator Carol Pankow. Where's Carol? There she is. And former state rep and Speaker of the House, Lee Daniels. And member of the Political Science Department at Elmhurst College. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. It's good to see you, and a special welcome is also due to the members of Elmhurst College and Community for their long years of steady support. May I ask Chairperson Charlotte Muschow and all the members of EC&C, which are distributed throughout the room, to rise and be recognized. Please stand. Thank you. And we also have a number of the college's trustees with us today. And may I ask you to stand when I call your name, please, and we'll acknowledge you all at once. Would you welcome trustees Wes Beckton, Larry Braskamp, Jack Cashman, Joel Herder, Bud Linehan, Hugh McLean, Ed Mumkus, Hal Pendexter, Eva Tamling, and Trustee Emeritus Charles Mayer. May we have a round of applause for our wonderful trustees. And we could not have enjoyed this morning together without the work of our logistics wizard, Peggy Stanko, and the wonderful crew from Chartwell's, our food service company. Please give these hardworking folks your thanks. And to all our faculty, staff, and administrators, especially the talented and dedicated members of my cabinet, thank you for all you have done and will do this year to continue to make our beloved institution the premier liberal education college in Chicagoland. A round of applause for those folks, please. In preparing for this event, I went back to my remarks of a year ago. Happily, I found that the initiatives of the college I described to you then, emerging from our strategic plan, are all on track today and moving forward. I'll talk about those in a moment. Less happily, however, some other things have not changed. Specifically, the economic environment that I euphemistically described last year as challenging remains so. Thus, in January 2010, the national payroll employment was essentially unchanged. Employment fell in construction and in transportation and warehousing. Things were worse in Illinois. In our state, some 16,300 jobs were lost in December. Against a national unemployment rate of 10% in December, Illinois posted 11%. And ominously, this represents a growth of unemployment in Illinois of just over 3% in a year. Nationally, new housing starts in January were at their lowest in years. In Illinois, 1 out of 291 households is now in foreclosure, making us 8th in the nation in home foreclosures. One effect of unemployment and foreclosures, not surprisingly, is an increase in poverty. But here the picture might be a bit surprising. Beginning in 2005, for the first time ever in United States history, there were more people living in poverty in the suburbs than there were in the inner city. This shift of the location of poverty from city to suburb is reflected in DuPage County, where we live, where today more than 15% of our population lives either below the federal poverty level or just above it in the strata called the working poor. Unlike poverty in the inner city, though, poverty in our midst hides among the signs of affluence. But it's there, and you can find it in the increased numbers of families seeking food and clothing from our local churches and other religious and social service organizations. Many of you work with those organizations or volunteer. And sadly, we see it in the rise of women who, with their families, turn to shelters when domestic violence, born of many factors but often triggered by the breadwinner's job loss, shatters the family and drives its members into poverty. The middle class today is indeed fragile, as bankruptcy scholar Elizabeth Warren has said, and more we're seeing the fragile middle class find its stress points and fracture under the weight of an economy that has no wings, no upward motion, and apparently no life. Statistics and images could be multiplied, but the point, I think, is made. Now, though economists will tell us a recovery that will alleviate unemployment is just around the bend, today's macroeconomic environment remains simply hostile to the American dream of meaningful, reliable labor, a home of one's own, adequate and affordable health care, and higher education for one's children. The impact of the economic environment on higher education in Illinois and for Illinois, near-term and long-term, is literally incalculable. State funding for higher education after spring 2010, through the so-called Monetary Award Program, or MAP, a long-standing, need-based state resident grant program aimed at assisting some of Illinois' poorest college students, remains uncertain. At stake is nothing less than the future of our children and the quality of our society, especially our Illinois communities. For if state funds are not forthcoming next year, an estimated 10% of students in our college alone could drop out. For the college to provide funding equivalent to the MAP grants our students receive would cost us $4 million a year, an amount we simply cannot afford without eliminating core faculty, staff, and services, or dramatically escalating our tuition rates. In short, without putting ourselves out of business, as we know ourselves. I think the example of Elmhurst College can be multiplied by every institution of higher education, public and private, in the state. The situation is grave. And make no mistake, private colleges and universities also serve the public good by relieving strain on publicly funded community colleges and four-year institutions, and by producing year in and year out many of the most highly skilled nurses, educators, and business people who serve us and our state, to take but three examples of professional fields that are central to Elmhurst College. Now, I know that politics proceeds by its own logic and at its own pace. And I'm very aware that we have great and good friends in the Illinois House and Senate to whom I'm most grateful, and several of them are here today, as you heard. However, we're once again approaching the breach when MAP funding must be secured. I therefore appeal to our friends in the Springfield legislature to make MAP funding for 2010-11 and after a priority now, this March. Let's keep our children in college, and let's keep Illinois moving into an educated and productive future. Let me turn to the situation then at Elmhurst College. Despite our hazardous economic climate, Elmhurst is not standing still. Far from it. This year we enrolled 584 new first-year students, compared with 586 last year, which was a record high for us. As we look out at 2010-11, next year, we see applications running slightly below 2009-10, but completed applications, which are a sign of real seriousness in a campus, running higher. We also see transfer student applications significantly up, no doubt a reflection of the appeal of our nursing program and other professional programs. Our challenges will be to bring in an entering class that is on a par with the previous 2 years. To do so without breaking the bank in financial aid, to preserve and advance our strategic goals of increasing the number of students from underrepresented groups, especially ethnic minorities, and incrementally making the Elmhurst experience available to more students from outside Illinois. We'll also be challenged to secure pay increases for faculty and staff, while continuing to keep the brakes on new administrative expenses and cutting costs wherever we can without damaging our mission. And we must advance the many other goals of our new strategic plan. So how are we realizing those plans this year? Now, you may recall that the plan calls for us to accomplish or initiate certain things each year for the next 5 years. This year, we are starting to implement our new program of general education. We're developing new opportunities for students' early professional preparation through academic departments and our 3 centers. We're expanding the college's summer program to offer more robust, market-driven courses, which will be a first for us in that regard, and create a new, reliable stream of college revenue. Anyone who talks to me or to my cabinet will tell you I've been emphasizing and beating the drum for developing new streams of revenue for our college for some time. I think it's going to be key to our future. So we're studying how to improve our programs aimed at non-traditional students and graduate students to make the best programs stronger and to open a path for new programs that are nimble and market-driven. Inspired to offer quality academic programming and driven to be able to know what works and what does not, we are creating procedures for the systematic review of all of our academic programs, and we're doing the same for our non-academics programs in student services. All our programs will be reviewed on a 5-year basis. If something isn't working, we'll change it. If it is working, we'll strengthen it. There will be close accountability all around, starting with me and my performance. If this sounds like I'm running a business, my friends, it's because I am. Higher education in this country has always been a business. Bricks and mortar, salaries, revenue, marketing. Strip away the ivy and you'll find it all there. We love our students. We're committed to a distinctively nonprofit model that is rooted in community, learning, and service. But we're also a business. Our current recession has only made all of us more aware of it. In the same vein of assessment, we are finding new ways of determining whether our students are growing in their knowledge. It's easy to give a final exam in a course, but it's harder to know whether course after course Our students are building intellectual skills, growing in judgment, or becoming more conscientious citizens throughout their college careers and as a result of them. Creating ways to assess student outcomes, therefore, is high on our list in this and the coming years. We've created a working group to explore online learning possibilities as part of a larger technology planning process, and we await their report this spring. Online learning is not a panacea for revenue raising and is in fact expensive, but it may well have a greater role to play at Elmhurst College, again to the theme of expanding our streams of revenue. We're also extremely attentive to the needs of our current students. I'm pleased to inform you that as of this week, the college has a new enrollment management plan that links goals for enrollment with admission priorities. And we have a new student retention team made up of seasoned administrators from across campus. It will bring fresh ideas and energy to bear on how we can all help our students become successful learners and thus retain them in our community from 1 year to graduation. The strategic plan also requires us to look beyond our campus borders. Our new alumni relations plan is under implementation to advance communications, programming, volunteers, information, and resources for our very valued alumni and alumnae. We're also concluding work with our friends in the United Church of Christ, with whom the church bears a lively historical and mission-centered relationship, to clarify that relationship for today and to generate programming appropriate to it. I believe the college this year has seen a virtual renaissance of spiritual life programming in the Christian tradition, Catholic and Protestant, led by our chaplain, co-chaplains, and our students, who have initiated a series of liturgies in the Protestant tradition and are very excited to be doing that. And we've done this while providing ample, meaningful opportunities for religious expression by our many welcome non-Christian community members. We are an interfaith campus and a campus of the United Church of Christ, and we are proud of it. Now, every college worth its salt has big dreams, right? Ours is no different. The college's strategic plan calls for the renovation and expansion of the Scheibel Science Center, located on our southeast corner. Because of the preeminence that science and the health professions play on any campus, including our own, and because of the state of the now 40-year plus campus, a facility that serves as our science home, Elmhurst College over the next several years will undertake this ambitious but necessary task of renovation and expansion. Despite America's Great Recession, we have begun making plans by creating a science initiative leadership group consisting of science-minded faculty and trustees. We have had architects draw up schematics, and we are composing a financial plan that will allow us to begin this project within 3 years at the very most. We will not seek to expand outside our current campus boundaries, but the final facility will more than double the usable square footage of the current plan, and will provide a beautiful scenario for integrated learning in the sciences, in nursing, and in our Center for the Health Professions, because integrated learning is what I think the 21st century is going to be about. The silos are toppled. And if any of you have ever had medical care over any length of time, you know how important it is to integrate nursing, science, health professions, ethics, even religion, in ways that are appropriate to the patient. We all want integrated health care, and we aim at Elmhurst College to train our nursing staff and others in ways that will provide it. That not only gives us a competitive edge, I think it gives us a humane edge on those campuses that are still working under older models. Now, not to neglect the arts. We have put to work a task force of faculty to imagine how we can serve our fine and performing arts better, without subscribing to a grandiose vision of an art center that is neither, in my view, appropriate to the scope of the college's real academic and programmatic ambitions, nor feasible within the scope of our budget and the economy. We're keeping it real. What can we achieve with what we have? We will attempt to use our existing structures and footprints on campus creatively to expand the educational reach of our fine and performing arts, and we'll do so within financial reason and on a timetable that sees results. These changes, anticipated and underway, imply some significant shifts in our current thinking about the future physical form of our college. Therefore, we'll be returning to the campus master plan in 2010-11 to reimagine what Elmhurst College should look like in light of our strategic plan and its goals, some of which I've described here. I emphasize that all of the above projects are, to one degree or another, underway now. Together, these projects, plus a number of others that time does not permit me to enumerate and describe, will occupy this campus for many years. Such is the nature of strategic planning if it's more than a plan on a shelf, gathering dust. If it is owned and operated, we might say, by the planners themselves. I am fortunate to have responsibility for bringing to life the vision of this wonderful institution, conceived by literally hundreds of our college friends, alumni, students, faculty, staff, and you, the community members, during last year's strategic planning. Above all, it is the trustees of the college, our fiduciaries, whom I wish to thank for the confidence you've placed in me to steward this great effort, to lead and, I hope, achieve our shared vision. These are exciting times for Elmhurst College, but beyond mere excitement, they are opportunities for recreation. Some may ask, what of Elmhurst, the city? Elmhurst, the civic organizations? Elmhurst, the neighbors? These are reasonable questions, but I want to assure anyone asking them that we will not add by subtraction. We are not starting from scratch or from principles and ideals that are alien to you. In concluding these remarks, therefore, I recall that the animating principles of the college remain what they always were, the core values that are stated plainly in our strategic plan and announced with pride. They are the values of intellectual excellence, of community, of social responsibility, of stewardship, and of faith, meaning, and values. These are 5 core values that I believe are held by all those who care about our college, by our neighbors, governments, businesses, religious and community organizations, in short, by all of you. We will work in the Cherokee spirit of Gadugi. Gadugi, a phrase many of you have heard and which appears on the banners beside me. Gadugi means all working together, combining our efforts in fidelity to a community which claims our allegiance, devotion, skills, and labor. Together, we are creating Elmhurst College, working toward a more vibrant life of the mind, to deeper engagement with our fellow human beings, responsive to the needs of others, and inspired by our traditions of faith and their humane values, the 5 core values. I encourage you to be enthusiastic partners with me in this, our great work, creating the future of Elmhurst College in and for the 21st century. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for coming this morning. And thank you for joining in our wonderful work ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan, for that strong assessment of the present and vision of the future. These are indeed exciting times and meaningful ones for us all. And now I'd like to turn the podium over to our trustee, Hugh McLean, for a few words about an important upcoming event, the Scholarship Dinner. Hugh is president and CEO of Lakeshore, Wisconsin Corporation, and I've heard him talk eloquently about money and banking, and he can make sense of the economic picture at a time when that is a challenge even for the brightest minds out there. Hugh and his wife, Mary Beth, co-chair the Elmhurst College Scholarship Dinner, and we're lucky to have their leadership. All yours.
I certainly didn't deserve that introduction, but thank you, Bob. And I want to make it clear, I work for a small bank. They're the good guys. But in all seriousness, about 9 months ago, Peggy Sangren called me and my wife, Mary Beth, and said, we have an idea. We'd like to start a new tradition at Elmhurst College, and it's a scholarship dinner. And like most good ideas, this was simple and it was powerful. As Dr. Ray informed us in his remarks, there can't be anything more important than scholarships for a college at this time of recession and really more generally in all times. So Mary Beth and I were very honored to be asked, and we accepted to be co-chair. Now, if I got an offer for you, at your tables is a few of the invitations to the dinner. The dinner will be 2 weeks from this evening. I know many of you are coming, and I say thank you to that. Our response has been great. This is the part of my remarks where I say there's only a few good tickets remaining, so get going early. But in all seriousness, we are going to fill this room. We will have 300 people joining us, and we're delighted to tell you that the response is getting us to that number as of today. There's also another opportunity, and we really have been, I have been personally just thankful to this group and the more general Elmhurst College community in that this is also an opportunity to provide sponsorships of scholarships to students directly without attending the event. And our response has been great. There are many opportunities. The Light of Knowledge Scholarship is the principal vehicle, and I asked it if you can, that you consider making a donation in that form as well. But we have a great evening planned. We have two wonderful honorees. The Saragusa Foundation and their principal, Irene Saragusa, will be our community leader that we'll honor that evening. And the Northern Illinois Food Bank will be our corporate leader. You'll certainly hear more about both those organizations, and in the case of Irene, about her background. But the Northern Illinois Food Bank, has been a wonderful partner to Elmhurst College, where our students are directly supporting their good efforts. So please join us. We'd love to have you. And again, there's invitations at the tables, and there's folks here from Elmhurst College who'd be more than happy to help you with any questions you have. Thank you.
Thanks, Hugh. That's going to be a terrific event for the college. I hope you all can come. Now, in closing, I have to take advantage of the podium one last minute to thank Chartwell's Food Service again and to promote a couple more things. It's my nature, but I want you also to hear about some exciting things that are coming up that are noteworthy. So on March 25th, we will host the annual Rudolph G. Shoddy Lecture this year featuring Principal Chief Chadwick Smith, who's Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, and he will deliver a lecture called Rebuilding the Cherokee Nation, Lessons for All Governments. That should be a really unique and interesting event. And then for fans of the Blue Jays and golf, there's a brochure on your tables for the Blue Jay Backers Golf Outing, which is being held June 15 this year and should be a lot of fun. So please take one of those and sign up. Also, don't forget our ever-popular summer extravaganza, this year featuring Dee Dee Bridgewater and the Elmhurst College Jazz Band. That's on June 19th, which is a Saturday. And then finally, mark your calendars for October 1st for the first ever Niebuhr Forum on Religion in Public Life. This is something I'm really excited about, and I've gotten to do some work on with the president and others. This forum will mark the start of the centenary celebrations of Elmhurst College, of the graduations of Reinhold Niebuhr in 1910 and H. Richard Niebuhr in 1912, two titans of theology and big historic figures in the college. The forum will examine the relevance of the Niebuhrs today, and it will feature their grandson and grandnephew, Gustav Niebuhr, and a keynote presentation by New York Times columnist David Brooks. This should be a really amazing day for the college. So please look forward to that and come if you can. And finally, it's early. We're not even at 9 o'clock yet, so you have time for another cup of coffee. Relax and stay a little longer. It's great to see you all here. Many thanks for coming. Do come back soon, and I promise I'll practice the hash bell better the next time. Thank you. We're adjourned.
On April 1st, 2010, our nation will be counted. Every person, whoever they are, wherever they live. And what we learn will transform what we know about ourselves. The 2010 census, it's a new portrait of America. The 2010 census is an exciting milestone for America. It promises to deliver accurate information about our diverse and growing population. And it's important for the future of every community. Census data will be used to allocate over $300 billion in federal funds every year.
The 2010 census will be important to the nation because it is the foundation of our democracy.
The census, no matter when it is the consummate partnership between local, state, and federal government.
Communities use the data to plan for their future, like disaster and emergency services, healthcare services, schools, transportation, libraries, senior centers, and more. The 2010 census builds on the success of previous censuses and is the best planned and most well-researched census ever. And innovations, like a new short census form, will help to make it even more successful. The 2010 census, it's easy to complete. Data are always confidential and safeguarded. It's important.
This census is a commitment to the American way of life. To be counted as a resident of the United States, I think, is one of the proudest things that can happen to you in this country. It's important. Stand up for yourself, be counted, let people know you're out there.
The 2010 census, it's a new portrait of America.
A photograph, time and place, a picture holds a moment's space, a portrait of hopes and dreams, telling the story of our times. And for now we know that we're changing fast, and for now we've left the past. America, let's celebrate. We're proud and we stand tall together. A portrait of us all.
The 2010 census, it's a new portrait of America.
Hi, I'm Elmhurst Police Chief Steve Neubauer. Elmhurst is a great place to live and work. However, we are not crime-free. Many people in our community become victims of crime simply because they did not lock their belongings. I would ask you to do two things. First, lock your car, house, and bike. Secondly, call 911 to report suspicious activity to the Elmhurst Police Department. The Elmhurst Police Department reminds you to lock it or lose it.